Doris Burke look like, you know when you buy ice cream from the store and it's too cold, so like you try to scoop it with a spoon, but you can't get it? She looks like ice cream that got like set out for 10, 15 minutes so you can go straight to eating. You know what I mean? Like no wait. Like that's Doris Burke. Vanilla ice cream with no wait. With cookie dough sprinkled in.
And we're live, the show with the freshest opinions and views on the world's most beautiful game. I'm your host, Greg, and welcome to a Minor in Hoops podcast. This is episode number 28?
Adrian Peterson.
28, 29.
Adrian Peterson.
Wow, we have enough episodes where we can get confused about the number.
Yeah, we had that.
Great.
We at that point now.
That's
I ain't gonna
great.
lie to y'all, America. We ain't have no docket. Nothing.
You just came out here just not even dry snitching, just straight
no
snitching.
docket, guys. Y'all just rocking with us, man.
Comfortable in this spot right here, guys. I just need to put that in there. This couch feels normally over there in the chair, man. I got to figure out how I can get this spot off Brian, bro.
If y'all don't know, Brian is not here. He's at AAU tryouts for Team Richmond, so shout out to him. Of course, I got the homies here, Leak, TK, Dunkman Keith, holding down the camera. How we feeling, boys?
Feeling good. I mean, Clippers, they got two. Well, I think they're on like a 4 or 5 game win streak, but got 2 great dubs against Denver and Philly. So they're starting to click. They're like 21-7 now when Kawhi and PG are healthy, and I think 8-0 when their entire roster is healthy. So,
and there is your weekly weather report for all things Clippers.
Yes, sir.
It's not a podcast if Leak don't let us know exactly what the
Because I
Clippers
just don't want people to be surprised, like, when it's June and we're talking about who won the finals. I just don't want it to be like, how did they come out of nowhere and do this? Like, nah.
I don't think people are
No
going to
one's
say.
gonna say they come out of
yeah.
nowhere.
Like the Lakers aren't going to come out of nowhere and win the finals.
yeah.
I think we
If
all
you've been
picked them to
considered
win
a
the.
favorite,
I guess I more so just want it to be well known that I called them winning.
You called the Lakers winning?
The Clippers. Why
But
would
they're
I?
not going to win.
They are. How you feeling, Tamon?
Hey, look, man. I'm going to tell people like a wise man once told me, yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Today's a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Boy, you definitely quoted Justin Timberlake.
Really? I thought I was quoting Kung Fu Panda, but
yesterday,
all right.
yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery. It was definitely, what song is that Justin
I thought it was Kung Fu
Justin
Panda.
Timberlake did.
I learned that from the old turtle from Kung Fu Panda.
Well,
This man is quoting Justin Timberlake.
I know Justin Timberlake.
Or Kung Fu Panda. Each one is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tell me that both of them aren't hot.
I'm trying to figure
Justin Timberlake didn't have a hot streak. He was like,
way longer than the streak, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
way
he-
longer than the streak. I'm not hating on Timberlake at all.
Bro, in
Like,
Black
he gave me one of my
culture?
favorite albums.
which one?
It was had Blue Ocean Floor on it.
The 2020 Experience.
Yes.
That had Suit and Tie on
Suit
it.
and
But
Tie.
that Blue Ocean Floor rock. I might have to listen to it after this pod.
Like that was a great album. And it was like every song was like 10 minutes.
Justin Timberlake, please support us. All right. And Kung Fu Panda producers. Jack Black was good.
And there's your plug. Nothing on the docket, man. We really out here chilling. There's only one thing I really wanted to talk about because I smell beef in the air. We get into the playoffs.
No steak.
And Giannis and Harden are going back and forth. Of course, Giannis has some words pertaining to James, not really directed at James, but pertaining to James during the All-Star game selection or the draft.
He had multiple. It was 2 occurrences.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first was he had said he had chose Kemba because of.
He was going to pass the Harden. He didn't know Harden was going to pass the ball.
And then the second one was like our game plan was just to go at whoever. I would just go through whoever Harden was guarding. So he came out Harden twice.
I thought it was sick. I thought it was hilarious. But needless to say, James, I guess, didn't like his comments because then he had an interview with Rachel Nichols last week. And pretty much said, yeah, well, if I was 7 feet and I could just run and dunk, that would be great. I wouldn't mind that as well. But he implied he actually needed some skill. And I just thought it was hilarious. I like to see the energy. I can't wait for them to play. But what do y'all think of what they said, man?
Both of them were wrong in their shots. Because, hear me out. James Harden is one of the league leading assist players for the last couple
Very
years.
assist hunting ish though.
It is
Just
assist
being
hunting-ish.
fair.
It is assist
Because
hunting.
majority. Oh, Keith, how my levels? I just want to make sure I know me talking on the mic. All right, cool. A lot of Harden's dimes are the basic lob, or we're kicking to somebody in the corner for a three. Very assist hunting ish, similar to John Wall used to rack up dimes, flirting with double figure, but we knew that wasn't making the Wizards better long term.
But
Just wanted to intervene.
no, Harden does pass the ball. Does he dribble way too much? Of course he does, but he does pass the ball. Like I said, there's truths in both statements from both players, and then there's fallacies in both statements. So Harden does pass the ball. He does dribble way too much. But the second shot was going at Harden on like Harden defensively has picked it up so much over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Now, do I think he's a elite defender? No. But does he give effort on the defensive end now? Yeah, because in 2015, he would let me blow by him. Like he did not care. But
There was a whole compilation video.
It was like a
of
12, 13 minute just him standing.
just him standing, bro.
Like he'd be on transition defense and just be like, all right, ole, let him get the layup. So
Just standing.
He got to save the energy for dribbling. But what Harden said about Giannis was true to a certain extent, too. Because I'll take CJ's route.
Okay.
You don't become MVP by being unskilled. You know what I mean? There's multiple 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers in this league that can't do what Giannis did. If that's all it took is to be able to be 6'11" and run the floor,
Yeah.
then there's going to be a lot of people like Giannis in the league, and there aren't. I think Giannis has to develop skill in the half court. I've always said this. I think in the playoffs, when things slow down, when you're not going to get those same transition buckets, you're going to have to have a certain bag of just go-to moves within the half court. So specifically for him, the fact that he's 7 feet, back to the basket moves, post moves, or whatever, but he shows it occasionally that like I have some skill.
Yeah.
But is Giannis? I don't think Giannis is top 5, top 10, maybe not even top 20, maybe not top 40 in skill. You know what I mean? Everything off of Giannis is based off a lot of physical, athletic ability. So it was a shot that Harden took, which is partially correct. Giannis isn't as skilled as a whole lot of people who won MVP. But he has some skill. And Harden isn't as solid defensively or as pass first as his numbers would believe him to be. But he does pass and he does play some defense. So I just don't think those guys. I don't think those guys naturally liked each other.
I don't know.
Or at least I hope they didn't.
I don't know when it started, but I've seen like a lot of people say like, oh, if Giannis was 6'6" and same skill level, he would not be as nearly as good as he is.
Well, he wouldn't be able to play his game. He would literally have to change everything about his game. So that's like a stupid argument to make.
Yeah, like I hate
Because if
I
Harden
hated
was
seeing
6'1", he wouldn't be Harden. Like
Right.
The fact that he's 6'6", he can get off some of these step backs and whatever. The fact that he's,
the
sizable
200,
wing,
he's like
yeah.
205.
He won't be able to
215,
bully
something
his
like that.
way to the free throw line.
Yeah, I thought that was like really, really bad to see. Like okay, these are casual. I don't even know if they're casual fans, but these just Twitter talkers, and that kind of
Twitter talkers.
Yeah, like
We done trademark Twitter talkers. You
got it.
cannot use that from this moment forward. We get 40% of whatever profit is made from anybody who says Twitter talkers.
honestly, I mean, the more I started to tweet, I think this is when I've actually started to see like how dumb arguments be when you talk about basketball. Because it's like, what are y'all talking? Okay, yes, if he was 6'6", he would not be able to just stand and bully and all that good stuff. But the fact that you're trying to say that he doesn't have skill in the same regard, it's ridiculous. Like, he uses his height advantage, he uses his physical attributes to be the best version of himself. And that's what makes him a skilled basketball player. So you can't just say, oh, I'm going to make you 6'6", and then, okay, you're not as
But
good.
people who do that, they, like you said, like they're generally like super duper casual people who don't understand like your skill is generally based off your physical physique. Like,
I'm using what's given to me.
I have a certain level of physical tools, and then I develop my bag based off of those physical tools. So if I have extreme bounce, of course that's going to be one of my tools that I use. Zach LaVine is extremely skilled. I think he's so underrated in skills, and that's why he's one of my players to watch this year.
Mm-hmm.
Does he use his bounce? Yes. If you say, oh, take the bounce away from Zach LaVine, who is he? Like, that's unfair to say.
Right.
Because, like, those guys are still skilled. Like, for example, prime example, the bounce has been taken from Derrick Rose. Is he still hooping?
Big time.
He had to increase his skill level.
I think the skill, I think
Nah,
he always,
he's
I think the thing is, he lost his bounce at such a young age. I don't think it was increasing skill level. I think he just continued to develop as a player. Like, he didn't peak.
but he developed it. So, like, when I just mean from a skill standpoint, like, as far as certain shots, much better. He was always great within, like, using his floaters.
Going to the cup.
Being able to finish around the basket. But
Mhm.
now, like, he adds a lot more of, like, there's more change of pace. Like, I feel like D-Rose, like, prime young D-Rose, it was either gear 1 or gear 4 as far as, like, him trying to blow by you speed.
Right.
But I think now he has, like, several speeds that he can go to, partially because he's not the explosive dude. He still has his top speed that his body allows him to have, and he has, like, you know, that chill speed before he takes off. But he, like I said, he's just much better now at changing his speeds. I feel like he didn't have that early on.
But I don't think he was supposed to have that early on. Like, when we talking about D-Rose, he won MVP at what, 22?
21?
21?
No, it was like 22.
It was like 21, 22, something like that.
I'm gonna look that up.
I think it was
He got
22.
Statman in the
I
room.
think it was 22. He wasn't supposed to have that yet. You know what I mean? We're talking about D-Rose, who is plus 30 now. So, of course, your game is going to develop over time. But to say, like, yo, he just won that MVP super early. So we always look at it like that was the best version of D-Rose. D-Rose never gets hurt. We're probably sitting here.
He's better than Russ if he doesn't get hurt.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, easy. That's easy to say. But, like, how good.
22.
Yeah, 22. How good could Derrick Rose have been if he never got hurt? But it's just the fact that you have to adjust to your game. So, like I said, we seen Derrick Rose without the bounce. He's still adjusted. He's still skilled. We're talking about top tier NBA players here. So, like, saying, like, if Giannis was 6'5", 6'6", like,
trash.
that's just somebody. That's somebody who's hating and don't understand how basketball works.
Right. And, like, we always say it all the time, like, and I wanted to make sure, like, it's very clear, like, none of us think that we can actually hang on a court with an NBA player.
And not on my best day.
Like, nobody in here thinks they can hang with them.
Not on my best
any
day.
chance,
Not
bro.
on my best day and their worst day.
Big facts. Like, that's just me being real. I'm sorry if you are one of those people that's just on Twitter and think like, oh, because Giannis is 6'6" and you supposedly he doesn't have a jump shot to you. He doesn't have a jump shot compared to the other world class jump shooters in the league. That is what you're saying.
Giannis is gonna spray on you the whole game y'all are playing.
If he meets you in the Y, he's giving you work, bro. He's giving you 50 in a game to 15. So just chill out. And I think that's where people get mixed up at. And like, if it doesn't matter, like if a world class hungry athlete, no matter how tall, how short, whatever, what size, if they're hungry for it, they can be whatever they want to be in the league. You see it out of players like Trey. You see it out of players like Steph. Like, these guys aren't the most physically gifted. But because they're hungry, that's what makes them world class.
I'll take it a step further. We see it to like people like Nate Robinson.
Big time.
Like, if you want to talk about people having height and size, well, let's take all of that away. So if any one of those people who want to disrespect Giannis, like, oh, he's only like a big body that can run, well, I dare you to try to line up against Nate Robinson because he's the opposite of Giannis, you know?
Yeah.
At 5'8",
5'8".
At 5'8", had the bounce, even without the bounce. And if you want to take it a step further, like, we just saw IT give everybody's favorite point guard 30 a couple years ago.
Big time.
And that's league.
So
what are we talking
the
about?
The smaller you are, the more skill you have to have.
You have to have.
You have the smaller you
Because
are.
you don't have the physical tools to build your game around those physical tools. Like I said, like Giannis, it's not like he's super duper unskilled. Now, like I said, I don't think in skill terms he's top 30 in the league. Like, there's a lot of really, really skilled individuals, but they need to be.
Right.
Because the fact that they don't have his size advantage and his physicality.
I'll go a step further with you. I wouldn't even put Nate in that class. Nate was so athletic.
Yeah, he was super athletic. He was super athletic. That's why I switched it to IT.
Yeah.
Because IT was not.
But Nate still was skilled.
But not,
Nate was still skilled. No, I'm taking nothing away from him. Not taking nothing away
Shout
from him.
out
Not at all.
Nate.
Yeah.
I'm not taking nothing away from him, but like IT's the perfect example. Like, not necessarily the most athletic person on the court.
Don't sleep on IT. If you those years, like for one, when IT was like at Washington, like I'm pretty sure he caught a couple bodies. And then even a lot of his finishes in the league, like he's really
but most of
getting
these
up off
league
the
people
floor.
be like they'll sneak one in. Like the highlight I love to watch is like Chris Paul getting one on Dwight, because I like to see Dwight get banged. No, shout out Dwight, I'm a Lakers fan, but you're redeeming yourself. But like people who sneak the dunks and stuff like that, like you have to realize, I get it. Like some of these guys are 5'10" to 6'2".
Right.
On the basketball court, especially the league, they look really small. Put it into perspective. I'm 6 foot. When I go to hoop and I'm a super slim frame, sometimes I'm the big on my team. Sometimes I'm the tallest guy on my team in the gym. So like to put that into perspective, like these guys on the court, like that's what they make their bread off of is their physical prowess. So you can't just say like, oh, take away all the things that make him amazing and he won't be amazing. Like, no, he would just find another way if he really loved the game to be. Like Derrick Rose when his knees pop.
Right. And one of my favorite ones is who just retired, Sean Livingston.
Sean Livingston when his knees popped.
Big time. Like
At the same time.
I thought it was a wrap. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a wrap, and he came back, and I was like, yo, he might be one of the toughest mid-range shooters in the league.
The mid-range
he was
is not
hitting
dead.
contested ones. They were some tough shots he was shooting. I'm like, yo, this man is finding a way to get around the court. He doesn't have the speed.
But he was so lanky. He had the length. He had picked his spot. Bro, anywhere from around the elbows. Oh, God.
18 feet in, bro.
Hey, yo, Ben Simmons, get in the gym with Sean Livingston. 18 feet out. But real quick segue, since we're talking about Ben Simmons, who's on the Sixers, let's talk about how the Sixers had. They had a great game today against the Clippers. They lost. They lost. They did lose.
Shake ball. We were talking about that before we started the camera.
Exactly. But shout out to Shake.
Shake had a
39.
huge game.
39.
Yeah. That's his career high. League had some big words for him. Said he could start.
Nah. So I'm actually today actually made me upset that I haven't been louder about Shake prior to today. I've always been a fan of his game, even when he was at SMU, 4-year guy, I believe. Had a really good college career. I was there at SMU, I believe, when Larry Brown was still there. Yeah, so, like, was really, really solid in college. Like, just very well. Another guy where, he's 6'5", long arms, but he's very, very skilled. Like, very great jump shooter. I mean, I saw a stat today today, he was on a streak of, like, he made, like, 14 straight threes. Like
13. Yeah.
No, I think he hit 14 and then he missed.
No, he hit 13. I think I saw the stat right before the pod.
Okay, well, yeah, it was either 13 or 14, but like he had made like his first 5 today, and then like hit like a couple more the game prior. But like the dude has a bag, like really, really skilled, great footwork, 3-level scorer, not just trays and layups. Like he has a great mid-range game. Clawed his way out of the G League. He was with the Delaware, like Blue Hens or something. Not the Blue Hens, but whatever Delaware team that's like under Philly. But I mean, I think that's a great situation for him because for one, like
They need shooting.
They need shooting, like in the worst way. And not only that, he's somebody that could also make plays, like with the ball in his hands. I feel as if like one thing I think that's always going to stop Philly is the fact that they allow Ben to be a point guard. He should just be a 4.
Go to the 4, Ben.
He should be the 4.
I'm not gonna go that far.
I think
not
so.
gonna
Move him to the 3. I don't care.
Because there's not enough shooting. There's not enough
shooting.
shooting around him.
I'm not gonna go that far. I do like what Shake provides because Shake provides more. In a way, with the league is now, we're gonna see more 6'5" point guards than ever before. I believe.
Of course.
LaMelo's coming in. He's 6'7" and 3/4. Like we're gonna see that much more often. So Shake is now the prototypical point guard. That 6'5", kind of that Penny Hardaway prototype body style, and being able to make plays, shoot the shots, all that in the third. I think it was just some normalcy there in that position, as opposed to having that 6'10", 220 Ben Simmons, who's very, very passive, as opposed to being aggressive with his game. I just think that's why it feels like they're a little comfortable out there. And they also put Al Horford on the bench too. Like that's also another change.
Yeah.
Really huge.
And they're seeing now more and more every day. I said from the day it happened, there was no reason for them to throw all that money to Al Horford.
Oh yeah,
There was
it's
no
already
need to
reports
bring him
talking
off
about
the
they're going to
bench.
try and trade him in the
Yeah,
offseason.
but nobody's gonna want
But
that.
the thing they saw it as is having an asset. Like, because I don't care what team you are, Al Horford is still an asset. At that money for this
and
Sixers
at
with
his
the holes they
age,
have,
his age and
that's
contract,
an issue.
nobody's
It's just
gonna want
because,
that.
like, it would have been one thing if you got Al Horford, but you got him for that amount of money and you didn't fill the holes that you needed to fill. You could have threw that at a shooter, but that's besides the point.
Right.
So
or two.
Or two, exactly. But that's, like I said, that's besides the point. But what happened with Shake, it fills in because now you stretch the floor.
Right.
Like I said, the best player on that team is Joel Embiid. Period. And he can't operate how he wants to operate because people just sag off of Ben so heavy. To the point where people guard Ben 12 feet away.
And we've talked about this so much. I'm so conflicted with Philly. Like we mentioned, Ben Simmons is out with a back injury. If I don't know if I mentioned that.
And they're saying I remember early when they first started talking about it, they were making it seem as if this might be a serious thing.
Yeah.
They said out 2 weeks, though.
They said 2 weeks. I'm not necessarily sure. No one really has
a timetable.
A real timetable. Because at first, like you said, it was indefinite. No real answers. And then Joel Embiid sprained his shoulder or something one game. Like, someone just brushed up against him, and he's holding his shoulder.
The shoulder thing is alarming to me.
The issues with them, and I'd say more so Embiid,
health.
It's health, bro. He cannot stay healthy.
Yeah.
He cannot keep his injuries at bay. And that's the biggest problem. I don't care if you're my best player, talent-wise. If you can't play...
ability is availability.
Right. If you can't play, I'm sorry. I got to go with the other guy, the other all-star that's playing normally 60, 70 games, as opposed to you only playing, 40, 50?
Yeah.
And always having to get in shape or get a rhythm. And you're never ready. You're never ready. So it's really hard for me to enjoy what Embiid is doing because I'm already thinking, like, if he has a 40 ball tonight, he's probably not playing tomorrow. Or everybody, we're sitting on eggshells and pins and needles making sure, like, he doesn't get hurt. Like, that is the biggest thing. Like, I'm just expecting him to get hurt at this point now, as opposed to actually enjoying what he's doing.
I think this is a year of extreme judgment for Joel, just because of this will be what they could potentially be looking at their third or fourth year straight of losing in the second round.
Yeah,
this would be what, because they lost that first year. They made it. Oh yeah, so I guess it'd be third because 2018 they made it. Lost. That was their first year. They lost to Boston and them. Then last year, so yeah, it's gonna look sour if you did 6, 7 years of tanking for 3 second round.
I can't say this. I'm not throwing that all on
Not
Joel
on Joel,
or Ben or any of those.
But a move should be made.
Or any of those players. They put a roster, or even a coach. They put a roster that just doesn't make sense to winning. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
If Ben Simmons is your point, you better have at least 3 other people who can knock down the trade. At least. Like, bare minimum.
Yeah, and one person that we haven't really, we kind of gave everybody the work. Horford, Simmons, and Embiid. We really didn't get on Tobias Harris in terms of how hot and cold he's been.
Yeah.
There was one game.
Super streaky.
There was one game, I think it was the game Embiid went down. He did pretty much nothing. Came back the following night. I think he had 29, 30, something like that. So he's one of those other guys that you're like.
But I think he's lost too.
Is he also getting overpaid, or?
I think he's getting overpaid. They threw him the bag that Jimmy didn't want to take.
And
he's not 108. Well, I mean, he's not 180 million.
No,
they're paying people it feels like they're paying people to keep them as opposed to paying them.
Well, they paid Al to get a reliable veteran and also hurt their competition.
That was
I'm
partially
more towards that.
It was that's
nobody,
how it was.
They knew he helped significantly any other team in the East, and that's crazy. I'm sure I feel like he's pretty tight. He's like, dang, like I left Boston for this.
Yeah, because I feel like Butler kind of saw the writing on the wall too.
Like, no,
I feel
Jimmy
like
just didn't like anybody there. Like Jimmy just only rocked with Embiid there.
But I think he saw the writing on the wall in terms of the coach. I think he saw in terms of like having an issue with Brad, the system. I think he had an issue with how the front office may have been handling things. I think a lot happened or that he saw that he was like, yeah, no, this isn't me.
Yeah.
This isn't my space.
I think, Philly's a great town, but I think, for what Jimmy was trying to do, I don't think it was. I think Brett Brown gives me a vibe of like, I think the team would be much better if they, for one, picked one of those guys and was just like, yo, this is the guy we're going to go through and we're going to have to move one of these other guys between Joel or Ben. I don't know if he's the type of coach because he's very 21st century, a lot of threes. Like, JJ Redick had the greenest light I've ever seen. Like,
he deserved it though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
hooping.
They even threw him a crazy. Didn't he get like a 1 year, $23 million contract not too long ago with them? Like, so I just think because he's such a space, get up a lot of threes. Like, I think it should be either we're going Joel Embiid and we're surrounding it with nothing but jump shooters, similar to like when Orlando went to the finals,
right?
Or vice versa with Ben and making it one of those teams that maybe like it's also surrounding him with shooting, but like he stays. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like when those initial Cleveland teams from Bron and them got really, really good, but like give him more shooters than just Mo Williams.
Yeah. He had Donyell Marshall that 1 year.
Listen to what you just said. Exactly.
Donyell Marshall had the clip. I remember on NBA Live, he had a little 3-by.
How much better is Boston if Al Horford's on the team?
I think
right now, today.
I think they might be the favorite.
Nah, out of the East, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the East, they might be the favorite in the East. I'm not gonna lie with you.
But I don't even know if that money works all the way. So I'll have to.
I mean, Al would have had to resign.
In terms of the money situation, yeah. But if they
would have to take a significant pay cut.
Yeah. But if
like
we're
I
just
said,
saying,
I'm all
like,
for
he's on
people
the
getting
roster,
their bag.
Yeah. And dudes, at the end of the day, dudes don't. We as fans want to see certain teams get a chip, but dudes know like a chip is only going to get me so much bread.
If you're not the man.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Melo, if he would have went to the Bulls, that could have been a real situation where they compete in the East.
Mm-hmm.
He would have taken $30 million less.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look a man in his face
and
tell him
$30 million
you're
less.
making a bad decision for your life if you don't take $30 million less. Like,
let's play a hypothetical game.
I'm not taking $30 million.
Let's play a hypothetical game real quick. If, for instance, Melo goes to Chicago, he beats LeBron. That same year he was with the Heat, right?
Yeah.
He beats the Miami Heat team that had D-Wade, Bosh.
This was 2012, I think, 2011, 2012, something like that.
So he was there. He goes off to the finals and wins one. Beats the Spurs, OKC, whoever.
Mavericks or whoever. It was that year.
The conversation around Melo completely changes.
If Melo's on that Bulls team,
if Melo's on that Bulls team and they beat the Heatles and then go on to beat whoever in the West, the conversation of him completely changes from what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
But
and I think his bag follows.
No.
Because it would have been a multi-year deal for the seven. It would have been like a 3-year deal for like 70-something million.
We don't understand like the endorsements behind like everything that takes place. LeBron is known as being the most all-powerful athlete, but you're also being compared to Melo, who's in your draft class with you, and I beat you.
And this is why I'm gonna take it a step further.
And my best friend too, like D-Wade and Bosh. Like the conversation around him, I'm a champion. I'm easily a better scorer than you. No hands down, I'm a better scorer than you. People refer to him as being more clutch in clutch situations. When the clutch situation arose,
I mean, his bag is better.
The conversation changed around him completely.
I mean, offensively, Melo's like top 5. Like
before
there would have been a discussion on. Today, there will be discussions on who are you taking, LeBron, Melo. Melo doesn't even get in those conversations.
Yeah.
I don't think
he doesn't even get in those conversations.
If he went, but I'm saying I understand why he didn't take that chance because we're sitting here saying like if everything goes right,
that team was
good. Let's say he does win that first one, right? And let's say because mind you, this probably would have been a 3-year deal for that 70-something million.
Yeah.
He wins that first one. Second year, he hurts himself. Now we have an issue of. When my contract is up, do I get the bag that I was supposed to get in the first place?
No, wait. Okay.
Yes, we do have that
Okay,
conversation because
that- okay.
IT, like we just said, IT was up for
IT
100 mil.
5'7".
He was still up for 100 mil.
But he's 5'7".
And he got vet minimums after that. Vet mins.
He's
Is
not-
IT worth a vet min after doing what he did for the Boston Celtics? No, bro.
He's
you
not.
can't look me in my face and tell me that.
He's not. I'm not saying that he is, but they also was worried about him being 5'7" as a small
But what I'm
guard.
saying is
And Melo is 6'8" and easily one of the best scorers to ever touch a rock.
But who knows? We all thought that probably D Rose was gonna get max contracts for the rest of his life.
Not
you
for
told
the
me-
second one.
You said what?
Not you popped this.
But that's what I'm
second
saying.
knee.
You get hurt. Like who knows what Melo could have went through? Like if I'm going to I'm not turning down $30 million for a ring. I don't think I can. I'm not mad that he didn't
That's
do it.
crazy.
I'm not mad that
I'm
he
not
didn't do
saying.
it.
I'm not
I
saying.
can care less what the fans say or anybody who's gonna look me in my face.
I'm not saying that he should have turned down the money for the ring. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the conversation completely changed.
It shifts.
Even if
he stays healthy and everything goes perfect, it shifts.
he don't even have to stay healthy for 3 years. If he wins on the first one around and he gets hurt and then LeBron goes through, the conversation with LeBron changes again too. Because now it's like, oh, you can't get past your best friend. He got hurt and you needed that. You couldn't get past Joakim Noah, D Rose.
The conversation
Luol
does
Deng.
change.
The conversation completely changed on the Heat
change.
too. Like everything changes if he just wins one in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like that's all that matters, bro.
But it's
that's
not
all that matters.
It's not even a
and
guarantee that he's gonna win one though.
And he get. I mean, the only thing we're worried about, in my eyes, is Tom Thibodeau playing in 48 minutes.
He's gonna win.
Like, bro, that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Hey yo.
That's the only
Tom
thing I'm
Thibodeau
thinking
might
about.
try to push for overtime and play him some more.
Big facts. Like he
How much can I play you in one game?
plays 6
53
guys
minutes.
all the time. Todd Gibson playing 60
Yeah.
minutes, 2 nights,
think
bro.
Jimmy Butler set out an all-star game because he was so tired.
I don't think I'll say this though. I don't think the Bulls situation would work because at that time, did they have Thibodeau? They
Yes.
had Thibodeau
Yeah,
by then.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the height of the Bulls
I
right
don't-
before they took their hit.
Yeah, I don't think it would just because, like, for one, Tibbs likes defense more. He's a defensive guy. Like,
You got 4 defenders around him, 3.5.
yeah,
Who's
but
the half?
D Rose.
D Rose was still a capable. Was a
Not at that
defender.
time. Not at that time. He was not trying to play in the defense at that time.
I mean, he
It
was
was-
carrying the offensive load.
Exactly.
Now he's sharing the offensive load.
I
He had the
think-
capability.
I think
It was 3.5.
I think if
It was Luol Deng, Taj Gibson, Joakim
and
Noah.
Joakim Noah, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, honestly, his form of defense was tiring out whoever was guarding him on offense. That was
I agree.
That was his
you
form
want
of
D Rose to
defense.
go for 30 or you want him to stop somebody?
Yeah,
Yeah, I ain't mad at him.
Nah, pass him to Joakim.
I just think I feel like just watching Tibbs, especially towards the end. I think his last year was like 2015 or maybe the following year, but he just was outdated offensively.
He was not a good offensive mind
Yeah.
at all. At that time, or at least I'm not gonna say he wasn't a good offensive mind. He's a head coach, but in terms of what was happening around the league, he wasn't advancing with it
At all.
But that's where Melo comes in. Melo is was at that time was automatically give me the ball, get out the way,
And it would have
worked.
It would have. I guess it just would have had to be because around that time
He had
too,
2 guys that was like that. Like that's how D Rose got his MVP season. It was a lot of high pick and roll. Everybody get out the way. I'm gonna go handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Melo. Let me go eat.
I can say this with let's say
Everybody else play defense.
Melo goes to the Bulls and they're exactly what we hoped they would be. They still might not win a chip.
I agree. It's a huge might.
Do
I'm
they
not
beat-
saying it's a
I wonder-
guarantee. I'm just saying this is all hypothetical because we have nothing on the docket, boys.
Yeah, yeah, no, facts.
Like you got nothing on the docket. I'm not fronting with y'all. This is all hypothetical. But if Melo was there, if Melo was
It would
present,
have made it interesting.
it would have been interesting.
And if he
gets
so happened to get a chip, yeah, it does change the narrative of LeBron. But I have a theory that changes LeBron's narrative all the time. Like LeBron could legitimately only have 1 chip right now, and that's that OKC one.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
who knows? Like if Jesus ain't save him in Game 6 with
If the ref saw that he stepped on the line,
if anything, but
Like-
like I said, Christmas miracle, shout out Jesus, but
Shuttlesworth.
both. If Jesus ain't save him, like that's another chip that's lost. Like if Draymond could just keep his limbs to himself and is able to play in that game that he gets suspended,
Steph Curry's the best point guard in the world.
he
of
still
all time.
is. He still is to me. But,
Ooh.
yeah, that's. I've been saying this for years. But like I said, there's scenarios where LeBron only ends up with 1 chip. But I always give this breakaway as well. There's a certain amount of luck that comes with winning a championship.
Yeah, most definitely.
A certain amount. Like, the only team that I haven't seen, like, win a championship off luck in recent memory were the KD Warriors, because they were the KD Warriors. They didn't really... You can have your most healthy team, probably going to beat them. The only scare they got was Houston, but Chris went like Chris went.
I'm trying to think of another team. Just pure dominant.
There hasn't
It
been
got to be
dominance,
one of those
bro.
3-peat Lakers.
I
As
said
far
it
as
in the
what,
last year, but like
as
that
far
was
as
20 years
dominance?
ago. That was 20 years ago,
No,
bro.
It is 20 years ago.
It's 2020. That was 20 years ago.
God dang. Okay. All right, you got it.
Yeah, the 01 Lakers was.
Hey, I actually did hear somebody say that team wasn't as great as people made it out to be.
Who said that, Brian?
No.
That sounds like some
Brian
Brian
loved the
would say.
Lakers. It was Bill Simmons. He was talking about how I think that roster wasn't as special as people made. Like
It was-
Derek Fisher,
16-1
Rick
in the
Fox.
playoffs.
Yeah.
16-1 in the playoffs.
I mean, of course.
I can care less about what anybody says. They go 16-1 in the playoffs. They lose one game because Allen Iverson goes bananas.
Yeah.
That's it. They would have swept the entire.
NBA playoffs, yeah, bro, that's dominant.
And what's the last team that we seen be dominant and do that? The KD Warriors. So I don't care what Bill Simmons has to say.
He was just talking about the roster in itself. Like, of course, everyone did their job.
Tell-
and that's what made them special.
Next time you see Bill Simmons,
I'm
tell
not
him
gonna
I
see him.
said shut up.
I'll add him. I'll let him know we said that.
He just talked. Bill, I can't remember what other stuff. I saw Bill actually say some other wild stuff.
He's a
earlier
Celtics
this
fan,
week.
so
Yeah.
you're gonna hear wild stuff.
Yeah.
Sound like a hater to me.
Mind
Yeah.
you, he was saying, and I was kind of on that train too, but he was saying that team last year was going to win like 60 plus games, be number 1 seed, and yeah.
So I'm not hating on him because, like I said, I don't know why. I mean, now it's actually clicking like, oh, it is 20 years ago, but that was probably the most dominant I've seen a basketball team outside of
The KD Warriors.
KD Warriors. But there's, I mean, in terms of Melo, conversation completely changes.
I say get a fair rap. Like, I was on this podcast. Hey, look, man. I wish Brian was here just for this little slight monologue. I was on this podcast for months talking about Melo's ability and skill. And for months, it was 3-on-1. Me getting.
What are you talking about?
Hey, look. Now in hindsight.
It's not hindsight.
This ain't hindsight, Greg.
No,
Can we
it's
pull up some
not.
earlier pods?
Y'all
with
can go pull up the
all
pods.
yelling at me about this Melo situation. How Lee said he doesn't deserve to be in the league because he didn't love the game enough because he didn't take a bench spot or something like that.
Yeah,
With
which was
Brian
true.
pulling up all the numbers he wants from out of nowhere, it doesn't really matter. Man, shout out to Statless Pod, bro, because I ain't with the stats today. When Greg, you were either yelling at me or you were complicit with the yelling, and that's just as bad. Because one of our great leaders in history, Martin Luther King, said,
okay.
he said, if you're not standing on the side of righteousness and you're just being complicit and watching, you're just as bad as the evilness that's going on. I don't even know if he said it like that, but it sounds on par. I said it in a way that garnered his attention. I know he hear me from up there right now. But I was on here talking about Melo for months. And I remember Manny came on his pod too. Check the Manny pod. What did we call that pod? I don't know. Check the Manny pod. But y'all were burning me about this Melo thing. Not only did I say he was going to get signed in November, which he did. Not only did I say that he was capable of putting up 20 to 30 points at any
I don't think
given
has
night.
Melo had 30 yet.
Yes, he has a 30 ball.
He has a 30 ball.
I'm correct again. I'm just saying, like, with this Melo thing, it was like, yo, like, he has the ability and skill to play in the NBA.
No one said he didn't have the skill and ability to play. The issue was
He didn't deserve it, bro.
I'm not even gonna go that. I'm not even gonna go that far and say he deserved it. From what my understanding was, from what I was saying it's hard to put him on a roster on a team that is legitimately trying to win, or that is actually in a turn of rebuilding, because he takes minutes away from a young team.
I did agree with that.
Or if you put him on a legitimate championship team, it's like, okay, where does he fit?
I didn't agree with that.
Because it's hard because he's not that great of a defender, and he still has to play high-volume minutes because he's a high-volume shooter. That is what I said, and that's where Brian's stats came into play.
He doesn't have
which is all true still.
He doesn't have to play high
He's
value
not on a
minutes.
championship contender, and he's not on a rebuilding team. He's on a team that's fighting for an 8th seed, and he's playing high value minutes, getting high volume
Was
buckets.
I arguing
So,
all of that, or did I argue that Melo should be in the
right.
league? You're not right.
Yes, I am.
You were cool with him not being in the league. Anybody that's cool with Melo not being in the league is doing a disservice to basketball.
Portland right now is 3.5 games out.
And Dame's hurt. 'Cause
Fighting for an 8th seed.
Dame's hurt.
Are they a
Dame's hurt.
championship
Dame's hurt.
contender team, TK?
No.
Are they a rebuilding team, TK?
They-
All right.
they will be. They will
Sounds
be.
like none of us lied here.
I'm not wrong. That's all I know. I don't know who's wrong, but I'm not wrong.
Send Dame to the East or CJ, one of them.
But yeah, so I'm like I said, it's not me hating on Melo. I just know if he won a championship Chicago, this would have never happened.
Oh no, we talk a lot better about Melo if he.
This would never happen.
He brings
the optics
that,
around him would never have
For
happened.
all we know, because
Who wouldn't want to sign an NBA champion? Go ahead, League. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I
was arguing the money he would have lost off that. Like I said, from the get-go, sure, if you played in an NBA, like I said, if money doesn't matter in the world, what would you do? So these NBA players, they'll probably still play ball because most of them love ball that much. So if Melo was one of those people and money didn't matter, yeah, go to the Bulls. I'm never going to look in a man's face and tell him to take $30 million less. Like,
Oh, yeah, facts.
So if
facts.
you gonna look in my face
all I
and
was
you
saying
say, like-
was, all I was saying was the optics around him changed because he chose New York, and it was pretty much a failed experiment for the most part.
but I couldn't blame him for choosing New York.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying the optics have changed. If he wins a championship in Chicago, people fight over him like people fight over Iggy. Like
Well, higher than
Iggy
that,
was out here get
higher
exactly.
than that. I think because the thing is, at that point in time when he was making that choice between New York and Chicago, like Bron hadn't, sports media wasn't Bron central like it is now.
Are you
20
sure about that?
It didn't. I feel like ESPN and all that became like super duper duper Bron from the moment he got to
Walked in the league. What are we talking
It
about?
was, but like. You weren't turning on sports shows every single
Yes,
day.
we were. What are we
no,
talking
no,
about?
No. You know it went. Hold on. Okay.
What are we talking about?
You know
Everything
that
was
sports
Bron.
media it was, but like you still heard.
We were watching high school games at prime time television. What are you talking about?
Bro,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the difference is the shift in sports media after he lost that first series to Dallas, as opposed to prior to Bron. Yes, he was always getting covered. He was the number one dude in high school, and he had the career that he had up until that point. But, like, it became a thing. We don't know Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, the same way that they're known now. Shannon Sharp is a dude that's on TV solely talking about Bron. Like, you turn on the TV anytime today, it's Bron. We saw him, Bleacher Report, tweet about him eating Twizzlers.
I understand what Leak is saying, and I think in that time, the reason it wasn't so Bron is because we still had
other stars. We still had other
I was just saying Bron wasn't the best player in the league at that time.
So he was always getting covered, yes, but like you still had to talk about Kobe. You still had to talk about Melo. You had to talk about Kevin Durant because he was starting to like ascend at this point in time too. You still had to give love to the Spurs.
But when Bron made his first finals, when it was like, oh, he can touch greatness and win, that is when it shifted. I understand where you're coming from, but I understand what Greg is telling you. Like, Bron has been on every airway at least every hour of the day since his junior year of high school.
Facts. No, big
since
facts.
His junior year of high school, there's not an hour that has gone by on ESPN where Bron's name hasn't been mentioned.
There's two things you said that I disagree with. The fact that we didn't know who Stephen A. was, because
No, that's not what he said.
I'm not saying to the magnitude, especially Skip. We knew Stephen A. I didn't want to.
Skip got a bag hating on Bron, yo.
Skip, Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp.
God, Nick Wright.
Okay, I'll give you them.
Real quick,
I'll give you
30-second time out. Y'all can talk. I gotta go use the bathroom.
Okay, I thought he
real
was
life
about
happens.
to say something.
Nah, real life happens.
So yeah,
my first get up if it counts.
Basically, like. I feel like around that time, let's say Melo competes with Bron, gets a chip. Like right around that time where Bron was getting slandered in 2011, like let's say instead of us talking about Bron getting slandered, let's say we spend that summer talking about Melo in a finals or Melo actually getting a ring, because we don't know how the rosters would have turned out had he been on Chicago. I'll say this: Melo ain't going. Well, at least I would assume he wouldn't have went out like Bron in the finals had he touched one.
I don't think so.
Melo,
I don't think so.
Like
not versus Dallas, not at all.
And Melo, in his mind, he's like, and even KG was saying it on a pod. I think he was on the All the Smoke pod, but he was like, for a while prior to Dirk like winning that ring in 11, like a lot of dudes in the league felt as if like, yeah, this dude's skilled, but he's still kind of soft. And Melo had already had his fair share of battles with Dirk in the Western Conference, first round and semis. So I think that would have been a walk in the park for him. D Rose is not getting outplayed by Jayson Terry that finals series. I'm telling you that.
Nah.
So all I'm saying is, I wonder what the media coverage would have looked like had Bron lost that. I think it was.
I mean, I guess this is the only thing that I disagree with. I don't think the media coverage around Bron would have diminished. I think it would have still been what it always have been. And what it always has been is he is the most intriguing athlete of the generation since high school. I don't care what anyone says. No one has gotten more coverage on ESPN than LeBron James in the last 20 years. Hands down. Nobody. Not Kobe, not nobody.
Nobody.
Not even Jordan. No one has gotten more coverage on ESPN or like sports media than LeBron James. I don't think that would have changed. I think from all the way up until that series or that time period where Melo would have won, I just think the conversation shifts. The slander stays the same. The media coverage stays the same. The slander shifts. It goes from, oh, you choked versus Dallas to, oh, you can't beat your best friend because he's better than you. He just didn't get the same opportunity.
I don't think anybody would say that Melo's better than Bron, though. I think that the issue.
You don't think so?
Had he
beat him?
Had he beat him?
Had
Bro,
he beat
we
him?
were saying Bron's not even better than Kobe.
And they never met in the finals.
And exactly, bro. But that was different.
Point
So
made.
for sure,
Point exactly.
if
There would've
if
been a conversation,
Melo
bro.
plays,
I
There
don't
would've
think,
been a
I don't know, bro.
conversation.
Yeah.
If
There
Melo
would've been a
gets a chip, I
conversation.
don't think. I think some people are gonna say. I think the vast majority are still gonna.
Of course,
be
the
like
vast
Bron's
majority.
better.
But
the vast
but
majority of
vast
people,
majority
I
are
don't.
still
We
gonna
really
say
can't
Bron.
talk
But
basketball.
look where we at. But that's where the whole thing is. The
But I
optics
can't even
now.
guarantee that Bulls team is beating that Heat team. That's the thing. We're basing this all on if they
It's all
win.
hypotheticals, man.
It's all hypothetical. So yeah, in this perfect Bulls world with Melo, that happens. In a realistic world, if I had to put my bottom dollar on the Bulls Melo team, and then that Heat team as it was in a semifinals or even in the conference
I
finals,
get what, yeah.
Bron was going bananas until he got into the finals. He just choked in the finals. Bron was probably gonna give Melo some work too. It wasn't like Bron was gonna average 18 against Melo. That's not how it was gonna happen.
Hey,
He
I'm
did
not
it in the
saying
finals.
that.
So if you want to take finals Bron against conference finals Melo, that's
I'm
one
not
thing.
saying that. I'm not
But
saying
in
that.
that
But we've
scenario,
seen-
we would have
but
never
we-
ever got to that point.
We've also seen playoff Melo go stupid against teams like Dallas, go stupid
he
against
went
teams
stupid
like
against the
the
Lakers.
Lakers.
I remember
like
that.
we've seen him go toe to toe with Kobe.
He can go toe to toe with anybody.
So all I'm saying is they go toe to toe, and Melo sneaks out of there in a 6 or 7 game series. And you know what
but
happens?
I still think that Heat team is better.
I understand.
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
I
don't
agree.
think that Bulls team would have won.
I'm
that
not saying they
series.
would have won. I'm not saying they would have won. My money's
And
on.
I don't think
my
Melo would
money's
have
on D Wade.
outplayed.
My money's on D Wade at the end of the day.
I'm gonna say you still have D Wade and you still have Bosh, like after D Wade. So even if you want to do the law of cancellation, right?
Yeah.
If you want to go Melo and Bron cancel out, you want to say D Wade and D Rose cancel out. Bosh is better than the next 3 to 4 players on the Bulls.
Yeah.
He's better than Joe King. He's better than Luau. He's just better. Like there's a reason they call him the Big Three.
I agree.
Like that
I'm
Heat
not
team,
taking
I
none
still
away.
think they would have probably got that Bulls team out the way in 6. But hypothetically, if Melo did win that ring, a lot of things would have been said. And you know how I was back then. I would have been at the forefront of slander and Bron. I would have been. I'd have been like, look at him. Can he beat Melo? Kobe beat Melo. I would have been all there with it. But
yeah,
when I think about it more, the likelihood of him joining the Bulls and winning a chip, very slim. Because not only do you have to beat Bron in the East, you still have to beat whoever came out the West. And the Spurs were no joke. And let's say if it was a 2011 year, the Mavericks were Dirk was going 50, 40, 90, bro.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park, and I'm not saying it was an automatic.
Yeah, it wasn't guaranteed.
Not a guaranteed
But it's
ring.
a sexy thought to have. It's a sexy thought to have.
I just know the conversation. Like I said, we talk about Andre Iguodala and how he was
How
getting,
he's overpaid right now. just because of what he was able to do off the bench.
Right.
What, $30 million for 2 years? Yo, shout out Iggy, get your bag.
Big time.
You've been a great player your
great
entire
player,
career.
one of the smartest players in the league. No hate here at all, but like that man got a lot of attention just off of
You're talking about who?
supposedly,
off
holding.
of stealing an MVP, a Finals MVP, because I don't care what nobody say, bro. He didn't deserve it. He played he played great. He played like an amazing role player. Steph had 26 and 5.
I mean, he had some key moments versus LeBron. But
that's what got Kawhi his first Finals MVP. At one point, they were giving out Finals MVPs. If you beat Bron and you guarded him, we're giving you the Finals MVP. That's whack.
No, yeah, it definitely was. I was shocked. I'll say this in that series though. I think people were just so mad at Steph because like he wasn't going the same amount of like
He didn't average 30.
ballistic.
That's all it was.
Yeah, that's all it was.
It's his first Finals. He had 26. You're averaging 26 in your Finals and you don't win Finals MVP. And this is another thing, bro. Whenever Brian come back on this pod, I got a lot of words to say to him. So I hope he, I hope he studies what I'm about to say right now. Try to find some rebuttal that doesn't have to deal with numbers. But
okay.
a lot of the times we always talk about playmaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is playmaking? In basketball, it's leading somebody to score. You know who don't get talked about as playmakers often enough? The people who actually score the ball. If I don't care if you're averaging 30 points a game and 0 assists, you're probably the top playmaker on your team. Especially if your buckets are coming unassisted. Because in this league, a lot of them are ISO buckets too. So I'm like, if you're the one getting the buckets, you're the one making the play. Because we're not talking about playmaking and it ending in bricks. We're not talking about playmaking and it ending in turnovers. We're talking about playmaking and ending in buckets. And if I can cut out the middleman and just get the bucket myself, is that not a play? Is that not the right play? Because there's no such thing as scoring and it's being the wrong play. There's no such thing as scoring and it's not playmaking. When we talk about playmaking, we're talking about putting the ball in the hoop. So for everybody, so Melo's a great playmaker. Kawhi's an incredible playmaker. Lou Will's an incredible playmaker. All of these guys are making the plays that we want them to make because they're putting the ball in the hole. Now, there's other people who help them, I understand, by organizing a situation. But like I said, if you're one of those 24 to 30 point plus scores or whatever, you're probably the best playmaker on your team.
So here's where I got you. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm kind of saying that you're wrong. And here's why. Say, for instance, Lou Will gets 30, right? Or he's supposed to get 30. He's responsible for 30 points a night or 24, whatever.
Whatever it is.
You pick a number. He's responsible for that. Since there's no one on the court and he's so dominant with the ball and he's not what Brian would deem as a playmaker or someone who's like an assistant to other people scoring, whatever case may be, and not helping them get in the flow of the game, and I'm Lou Will and I am getting kind of shut out of the situation or my shots are inefficient, then I'm doing more of a disservice to my team because
it's all about how you get it.
They're coming back and they're getting their buckets easily or whatever case may be or efficiently, but I'm missing 5 shots every time I make 2.
Well, that's forcing. It's different. It's like,
but that's what you're saying. You're saying 30 points.
If you took you 28 shots to get 30 points, you're doing
That's
something
not good,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
like,
of course.
There's conditions to it.
But that's what he means when.
But
That's what Brian means.
That's an extreme condition.
That's not an extreme condition. You saying 30 points, I'm playmaking. Yes, you are. But guess what?
But you're doing it in an efficient way. You're doing it in a super inefficient way if
And
you're
there's 4
doing it
other
like
people-
that. What I'm trying to say is if you're the guy who has 30 points and 2 assists, it depends on how you got your 30. Like, if you got your 30 in a great way, like, yeah. But, like, if you force your 30, everything's going to look bad.
Yeah.
If you're the person who has 14 assists, but you have 8 turnovers, that's what's telling me is you're forcing a whole lot of passes. So, forget your 14 assists.
Of course.
You have 8 turnovers.
Of course.
So it works in ways like that. Like, so it's a certain way you have to get the playmaking ability. But what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, when we talk about playmaking, we're talking about playmaking is plays that lead to scoring, because in the game of basketball, the best attribute you can have is scoring. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to say I don't care about passing, but that's not the number one attribute. And people try to, like, sexualize it and romance it like, oh, my gosh, passing. Magic Johnson's passing ability. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, it's an amazing attribute to have. The most important attribute of basketball is the thing that put the points on the board. is the reason why people who even James Harden, when he wasn't playing a lick of defense, would
Could
still
get by. Yeah.
Nobody's gonna say anything to James because he can get a buck. And that's what really matters most in basketball is getting a cup, bro.
Yeah, getting the cup, but also the ultimate goal of playing the game is to win, and the ultimate playing.
So now you
And
have
how do you win?
series
How
of
do you
games
win a basketball game? You score more points than the other team.
You score more points.
But the issue becomes when I can hone in on you, like what we've seen out of James Harden, or what we've seen out of a lot of these other ISO guys. We talk about one AI super playmaker, and what you're saying when the Lakers got a hand on him.
But we're talking
That
about one of the
team-
greatest teams of all time.
Yeah.
He backpacked to a finals.
Yes.
So let's not slight it.
I'm not sliding him, but I'm saying it's also true. The ultimate goal is a championship. The ultimate goal is a ring. What y'all tell me all the time. It don't mean nothing if you didn't get a ring. Y'all say that, not me.
No, that's
not
load
Brian.
management. You quote
Yeah. Let's not
Load
just
management.
throw that out. I definitely said that about load management.
Load management only means something if it leads to a ring.
Like if the Clippers don't get a ring this year,
It's
we
gonna-
can slander
it's-
load
it's
management
gonna be,
all
it's gonna be
day.
Like, dang.
All I'm saying is the ultimate goal is a ring, is it not?
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal is a ring.
So if your
AI
scoring isn't leading to getting a ring, then yeah, you need to change something about that.
And when you're able to get honed in on and pretty much
But AI
be
didn't.
taken out of the game,
I don't think AI is the right comparison for it.
any ISO guy that scores, gets 30, and not necessarily dropping all these dimes, AI, of course, is a very, very tough case because he
What else was he gonna do?
wasn't giving the ball to Eric Snow. I'm not hating on him, bro. I'm not.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm not hating on him. But, like,
He had an old Matumbo. Like,
yeah,
what was he supposed
like,
to do?
I'm not hating at all. AI, you're one of my favorite players if you're watching this. Like, I'm not hating.
Hey, real quick, AI, you probably one of the realest people from Virginia. Shout out Mike Vick too.
So, looking at their situation, looking at how they go about playing the game, when you're able to get canceled out by essentially team defense,
Yeah.
now I have to do something new. And what is new? Setting up somebody else. Well, if I'm not good at setting somebody else up,
Or
no
if you
one
don't
else
have anybody else to set up. That's the thing. A lot of people think like these like prime time alpha type dogs that are scorers just look off other people. That's not true. A lot of times,
not even looking them off. Not even looking them off. I'm just not. I haven't worked on that part of my skill. Like I haven't made that a skill of mine to where I am
but
actually setting people
some
up.
Of the time, not
like
scorers
you've seen.
have. Kobe does it, and Kobe got hounded for being a ball hog and et cetera, et cetera. But when you seen in time to come in the clutch, we've seen him pass to Derek Fisher. We've seen him let Meta World Peace have the game-breaking shot. Like, we've seen these type of guys set up other people. It's not like they don't have the ability. We just understand that scoring is the best playmaking ability. That's all I'm saying. So I don't think, in this weird sense of what I'm about to say, I don't think scoring is really appreciated enough when we're talking about playmaking. Because when we talk about playmaking, a lot of times we're talking about people running the offense, starting the sets, calling the plays. Generally, the point guard who's able to, like, a Rondo type of person, right? If Kobe's on the floor, Rondo's not the best playmaker. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if Melo's on the floor, prime Melo, Rondo's not the best playmaker. Like, people always say, oh, this is the playmaker of the team because that's the person who initiates the offense.
Mm-hmm.
No, who finishes it? Who gives you the ability to initiate that offense? Who gives you that freedom to initiate the offense?
And Kobe is also, guys like Kobe, what makes them also a playmaker, if you look at, like, I wouldn't even say the definition, but, yeah, they're going to say playmaking is somebody who's probably going to come off a high ball screen, get in the paint, kick out. All right. The reason you're kicking out is because you've drawn an extra defender. You've now got two people on you. Whoever dude is initially guarding you, somebody else is helping.
Mm-hmm.
They have to stop you because you're now in the paint. The same way you can draw too is if Kobe Bryant catches it somewhere and he's on fire, and they now have to send a second defender. That is the same thing. We just went about it in two different ways.
No, I'm not. Of course, I'm not saying that one is not the other.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that looking at what can happen, and you're naming an extreme.
Not just Kobe, but just anybody,
just any primary scorer
that can
if you can draw a
defense,
double.
A defense, yes, has to give
But look,
a second defender.
And there's like 15 people in the league who could draw a double.
But what you're saying is you're still naming extreme because Kobe is one of those guys who has mastered the ability of combating those sending twos at my way.
Okay.
Like I've sent
somebody like D Book. He's the best playmaker on his team.
It depends on what that night is, man.
I think he's the best playmaker on his team. I think it's hands down.
He might be the best playmaker on his team. But what happens if someone sends two his way and he's not capable of getting out of that? He's more of a detriment now.
But he is capable. You can kick it out. Like now, if you don't have the ability to have that, like as soon as a double sends and you fold, like you have to reevaluate.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying that D Book is that guy, but what I'm saying is when we stop looking at the elite and we start drifting down into like the next tier of great scorers, great shooters, all that in the third, but they're not capable of being able to make
have
that
to get
play.
People to work for that bucket. Like those aren't the people who can just get their own all the time.
That is true. I think we're looking at guys like Lou Will possibly.
And Lou Will's the person who comes off the bench. No disrespect to Lou Will,
but he's getting 30.
You're 6 man.
But he's getting 30.
And how is he getting 30? He's coming off the bench getting 30 in a way that's different. You know what I mean? When I was talking about like the people who are like playmakers initially and the best playmakers on the team that are scorers, they're the people who are starting. They're the people who are getting
the number one option. But you're not a point guard.
But you're not. And even if you are the point, you're like a scorer first point. Like you don't have to just pass the ball to be labeled a playmaker. That's all I'm saying. Scorers are playmakers too. And they're the most dominant playmakers.
I can rock with that. I'm not saying.
And
I understand what you're saying.
That's not a disrespect to anybody like Rondo. That's not a disrespect to anybody who's like Steve Nash or somebody like that. Like Steve Nash is clearly the best playmaker on his team. It can work different ways, but like I'm getting tired of like the scorers getting slighted. Like, oh, he's a scorer. Oh, the point's the playmaker. Or like Draymond's the playmaker. Or
like saying a team, like I said, a team like the Clippers saying they don't have playmakers. Or like other teams that maybe don't have, like you said, a super duper pass first point guard.
Like just be like that sometimes. Because with that Warriors team, Draymond was the 4th best playmaker on that team. Steph, KD, Clay were better than him at playmaking. But we all herald Draymond for his playmaking ability. Like, no, you're the 4th best playmaker on your team. You're a pretty darn good playmaker. I'm not going to lie. Like, you have the ability to. But you weren't even top 3 on your team that year with an OD team. Now, without KD, you were still number 3. But we still heralded Draymond like he was the glue to make something kick. Like
I was telling Tamon what I want to look at with Draymond, and I don't know how I could find this stat. But for one, like the playmaking that Brian talked about Draymond doing a lot and just saying like he's such a great passer, Like there's one thing like LeBron James, we love the passer that he is because he's able to mid-drive or out the post or whatever, be able to stop, locate somebody, stop his dribble, throw an on-target pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see the stats of Draymond's assists because I feel like a lot of his assists, because the Warriors play such beautiful team basketball, it was a lot of 5 out, a lot of guys screening, cutting already. So sometimes Dre's able to throw the ball to Steph just coming off a pin down. He's going to get a wide open 3 because Steph is so great at setting up guys for coming off of these screens. Like, that's not as hard, just sitting there playing quarterback, throwing to a wide open guy coming off a screen like Steph, as opposed to Bron making some of these passes he does off the pick and roll
when the focus is entirely on you.
It's on him, and then he's zipping a cross-court pass.
I don't think Bron ever said that Draymond's a better passer than LeBron James.
No, better passer, but what he tries to talk about is how great of a passer he is. And I'm like, let's look at...
When in reality, you're making the pass most people can make because you have amazing people around
you. And then some of these other assists, like I said, he's getting, where maybe he's hitting somebody diving to the rim, isn't because people are concerned about what Draymond is doing. So, like, Chris Paul made DeAndre famous because he's carving dudes up, throwing these lobs, right? Like I said, Draymond's sitting there watching a pin down take place. If 2 guys go with Steph off of this pin down, which is more likely going to happen a lot of times because defenses are going to have a miscommunication just because he's so elite.
It's because he's Steph.
It's Steph Curry, too.
Because he's so Steph, you're going to follow Steph. I'm going to follow Steph.
So that dude, so now the screener is now diving to the rim easily.
Yeah,
so
just put it over the top.
Just throw it. That's not. It was actually nothing that Draymond did. Draymond actually didn't make that play. It was Steph that made that play.
I'm not
But
saying,
that won't show up in the stat sheet.
That won't show up in the stat sheet.
The Statless Pod.
I'm not saying that Draymond Green is this super playmaker of.
I know
player.
you're not.
And I think Brian also understands that Steve Kerr and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are probably what makes Draymond.
They are. It's not probably, they are. Steph and Klay.
Okay, and they are, but it's still the fact of he is in that role and he has expanded himself to fit that role perfectly.
Dude, PJ Tucker could do that.
We could say whatever we want about who could do it.
PJ Tucker.
We're
But
saying,
Draymond's done it.
But Draymond's
I
there.
understand.
You know how much PJ Tucker helps the Warriors last year in that finals? If you switch out him and Draymond.
PJ gonna spray that joint.
Bruh.
I don't know if I agree with everything.
I'm not gonna cap.
I'm not
that
going that far,
finals,
bro.
that finals goes a lot different.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know about all that. I just know PJ.
Bro,
gonna spray
it
that
is
joint.
extremely.
I'm not going that far because in terms of
PJ plays just as hard.
Yes, he
Does
plays
he
just
not?
as hard. He plays just as
He
hard.
shoots the ball better.
He shoots the
She's
ball
way better.
But I can't necessarily say to the same extent on the defensive end. I'm not going to go that far.
Only thing, of course, yes, I say Draymond is a better rim protector.
He is
Without a doubt, because he does
Definitely,
he got some
definitely,
inches on PJ, but I think that might be the only thing you sacrifice.
PJ plays hard on defense
But what?
too.
But what, like I said, you're giving up something little, but like you're not losing that much.
You kind of are. They didn't have that many bigs to go through. DeMarcus went back down.
I would say
yeah.
If
So it was a lot. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on. If we're not counting injuries,
But
that's
let's
a
also
serious
talk
than
about
going to Golden State.
though once those bigs went down, let's also talk about how rough it was for Steph trying to find that last what? When did Klay go down? Like in the third, fourth? Let's talk about how rough it was that quarter and a half he had to play when he's the only option and everybody else out there is sagging.
Yeah. No,
Think about how much better
I agree.
it is for Steph in the event there's at least one less help defender that can't.
In a quarter and a half, yes, PJ Tucker will be a nice sub in, but you can't just like.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Like,
I understand both
that's
sides. I
very
understand both
difficult to
sides.
do.
I understand both sides.
I say those two
All
dudes
I'm
aren't
saying-
that far off from each other.
All I'm
And
saying is,
ability and talent, I don't think they are.
all I'm saying is, looking at Golden State, Golden State was perfect for Draymond Green, and Draymond Green also made it perfect for him. That is what I've always said.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, like, I agree with that 100%. Good Lord, I'm glad we have this recorded because I've been saying it all the time. They were like a match made in heaven, right? At this point in their careers, Steph is going to be Steph, Klay's going to be Klay. Put Draymond on another team, he's not Draymond. And that's the issue. Because Draymond's
here's the
a Hall of
thing.
Famer because he's surrounded by Hall of Fame talent.
But he's not the only Hall of Famer that'll be a Hall of Famer being surrounded by other.
And
Hall
I'll call
of
him
Famers.
out too. I'll call him out
He's
too.
not the only one.
I'll call him out too.
Who's another?
I don't pick and choose.
Who's another fluke Hall of Famer like that?
He's not a fluke.
Who
Oh my God.
Who else would you
We're
call?
not having a Draymond Green pod. That's what
yeah,
we're not
Draymond
doing.
I
Green,
was actually about to say
statless pod.
we can move on. I was actually about to say I was thinking in my head. I was like, dang, like we don't have, like you said, we didn't have a lot written down on the doc going in.
Yeah, so we're not gonna yell at Draymond.
One guy I did want to show love to on this pod because I don't want to be like those media shows where they just talk about Bron all day or we just hating on Draymond all day. Need to show love. Shout out to Jayson Tatum, man, aka better than Paul Pierce.
Jayson Tatum.
He's
Hey, look,
been
he's really
Better
trying
than
to work
Paul
his way.
Pierce already?
That was just a nickname I was giving him from like his rookie
We
year.
used to slander. I still slander Paul. You still slander Paul.
I mean,
Pierce.
y'all let me slander him by myself 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And I was like getting on their hate, and y'all was just like, nah, Greg.
2 episodes ago. Was I here 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
I'm sure I was. But nah, Tatum, he is one of 5 Celtics. I believe it's like Havlicek,
Yeah.
IT, Paul,
Larry.
Larry to average 30 for a month.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. We talked about just Tatum. We talked about Jaylen Brown. That's one of the duos that's just going to be fun to watch for a long time. If they're able to stay together and not have no beef, that'll be
I don't think
something.
they're gonna have beef. They're gonna have the light skin, dark skin connection.
It's the perfect, like, literally that is the type of team you put around a little guard in Kemba Walker. If you're gonna have somebody that small at the top of your defense, you
Two
gotta have
scoring wings and one's willing to strap.
two extremely big wings.
And Jayson can come up, and he actually likes to play defense too. Like, okay, I understand they lost last night. I watched. We both watched that Houston.
That was a great
Celtics game last
Shout
night.
out to Houston, 6 wins.
It
in
was
a row.
on Leap Day, February 29th. I don't know when you're
Shout
watching
out to
this.
Russell Westbrook,
Shout
not
out-
shooting and eating up everybody, bro.
Real
I hate
quick.
everybody who's
Real
been hating
quick.
on Houston.
Real quick. Who has progressed further in their careers, Russell Westbrook or John Wall? Because I would love to have Brian on this pod right now, but when he yelled at me for 20 minutes talking about John Wall has made a bigger stride in his career than Russell Westbrook. You talking about John Wall who went? What, did
We
he
call
go
it
number
back
one?
every pod.
Did he go number
He was
one?
the number one pick.
He went number one. Russell went. I don't.
Four.
He went four out of UCLA.
We call it
He
back
played multiple
every
years,
pod.
didn't
He
he?
played at 2-2.
2 years because he went there with Kevin Love.
Yep.
And he really, oh my gosh, Brian, when you come back, I just got so much to yell at you about. Specifically that mostly. But nah, Russell Westbrook, big shout out to him. Like I said, and shout out to I don't ever like giving him props, but I'm gonna give him props right now. Shout out to D'Antoni for letting Russell Westbrook be Russell Westbrook. Because at the beginning of the year, he was trying to make Russell Westbrook a 3-and-D player.
That's not what I've heard. That's not what I've heard. I've actually heard interviews from D'Antoni, and D'Antoni was like, he never said anything to Russell Westbrook about his game when he came on. Never said anything. He just kind of let him do him.
So Russell Westbrook just reverted into what Houston was doing and trying to see if it worked. And then when it didn't, he was like, I'm going to be me.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all. That's essentially what
shout out to D'Antoni for letting him be him because that's why I was going anyway. Because Russell Westbrook, he's not a 3-point shooter like that. Like, he's a guy who really benefits from the mid-range. Because when you look at his touch, when you look at his ability to shoot the ball, like, it's all strong. So, like, when he misses, it looks like he misses bad. Like, every miss looks like a bad miss for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Every miss. Even mid-range bank shots just be boom, clank. Like, they all look bad, but, like, that's Russell's game is to allow him to shoot those mid-range shots.
Yeah.
And he's been given the green light to shoot the shot that he feels comfortable with. And now they're on, like, this 7-1 streak or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm cool with Houston Rockets, like, with this run. It's very much appreciated from top to bottom. Y'all not really going to go in far in the playoffs, but it's nice to watch right now.
Yeah, they doing that thing.
They can sneak. I'll say this, though, as crazy as it sounds. They could sneak maybe if they got, like, Utah.
Utah is weird right now. Utah is so weird.
So let's also talk about
Mike Conley.
him, and what about this? I'm not gonna hate, but
You about to hate?
Not hate, but remember how the other day Brian was just saying that Rudy Gobert is just in a class of no other. Like, he shouldn't even be relatively close.
No,
because
I missed that pod.
You weren't there,
But I was told about it through text and through you.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a
Was
time.
that the pod or were we off camera at that time?
That was the pod. That was the
Tamon
Kobe
was-
Bryant Memorial pod that I couldn't do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I feel like, part of it, Mike Conley's being in a weird place right now. I think six-man, they actually put him back in the starting line. They had Joe Ingles be a
Yeah,
six-man.
I think the higher ups was like, we're paying this man like
Too
30.
much money. As soon as they
Like,
did
we
that,
can't put this man on the
I
bench.
was like, wow. I was like, y'all better do that. I was like, that means y'all are all about basketball at this point if y'all are doing that. But, like, the higher ups came in and was like, this guy's making too much bread to come off the bench. Like, along with Mike Conley, I'm just like, I forget which game it was they were playing. I think it may have been that Boston game because Boston won. Without Kemba, like, one of the big things that teams are doing against Rudy that they don't mind is switching and
They're
maybe
pulling him out, right?
For one, pulling him out, but then also if teams have to, they're basically saying we don't think Rudy is that dominant of an offensive force to sometimes kill that mismatch. And that's going to hurt them in the playoffs.
That's fair.
If
I mean,
teams don't mind doing that because they don't think he's going to kill, like, his 5 to 6 inch, like, mismatch that he has, that's something sad.
That's fair.
I understand that, but that's always been a thing for Rudy. Like,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
never. I don't think anyone or Brian, I don't think ever said that offensively Rudy was that guy.
You don't have to average 20 to be able to score on a miss. Like, in the league, like, I feel like even regardless of the level of basketball, bro, like, if you're a big and you got a guard on you, if you're a guard and you got a big on you, you should have the confidence and the skill set to be able to win. It's called a mismatch for a reason.
I understand. The only thing about, and this is where I've also agreed with you or agree with the Rudy Gobert issue, is that when you're able to pull him out, when you're able to get him out of the situation, and you have him like so far away from the rim, he's a fish out of water at that point. And that's the only thing bad about him. But if you're playing a conventional team, Boston is not one of those though.
They're not. They spread it out. They're
Exactly.
big,
Like,
multiple things.
Tice is I think they're big man right now.
Shout out
He's
Tice, though.
6'9"?
So underrated.
Nah, he's a legitimate big, but
He's like 6'9", 6'10",
but he plays on. He will try to stretch the floor.
Exactly.
Brad
And
Stevens does a lot of 5 out. So
exactly. So Tice goes to the bench. Their big becomes Marcus Smart, low key.
Nah,
Like-
they got Cantor too.
Yeah.
So they're looking at a situation where, I mean, I've seen on the court where they've had Smart, Tatum, Brown, Wanamaker. I'm trying to get out of like because Kemba wasn't playing. It was Wanamaker and
Semi, maybe.
yeah, something like that. Where they would have guys like that on the floor. You're like, okay, yeah, Rudy is a fish out of water right now because I got guys all around the perimeter. He can't guard the rim like he would. As a rim protector, I agree with Brian. There is not many people that's on his level.
Yeah, no.
I think Clint Capella could do what Rudy does, but in terms of what Rudy is as a rim protector solely, yeah, he's unreal.
He's probably the best rim protector in the
So
league.
I don't know if that's necessarily attacking exactly what Brian was saying in that moment, and I'm just defending Brian.
I'm just saying, it was more so. I wasn't arguing. If Brian would have just said he's a better rim protector than Steven and Clint and just left it at that, I would have been like, cool, like that's fair game. But he's saying just add everything that a basketball player does. Whatever their final grade is, like Rudy is just in a class not even close to them two. That's where I was saying like he was wrong.
Like I said, I wasn't there for that pod, so.
But
yeah, y'all need to address him, man. Y'all
we
definitely
got
a lot of heat for him.
Just having Brian.
Nah, I had the Melo heat for all of y'all.
Having him gone definitely had me thinking about some things that I definitely would like to address when he gets back. But shout out Tatum. I was kind of concerned, last year because I felt like he kind of
took a step.
Yeah, but it was a whole lot of toxic stuff going on with that whole team. But he's been hooping, and I want to see, can he carry this into the playoffs? Because last time there was no Kyrie and he was in the playoffs, he was a couple minutes away from a finals.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely curious to see what he does. I think this playoffs could be his superstar stamp. I think this is where we could look at him like, okay, that's a certified superstar.
Yeah.
It's so tough because he plays in such a system, and it's not.
But it's a good system. It's not a bad one.
It's not a bad system.
A lot of superstars play in the system.
Yeah, they do play a lot of systems, but like with the Celtics, is like their system doesn't just like break down. A lot of superstars have control over their system. Like I said, like. Even when Kobe played in the triangle.
No. They chose to break it down. Let's not do that. Jordan chose to break down the system.
Yeah, he chose to break down the triangle.
And Kobe said this.
Kobe said forget D'Antoni system, which he should have because we weren't going anywhere with that.
Let's not even talk about it. Let's talk about Phil Jackson. Like, even in Phil's system, like Kobe made pimp decisions and was like, all right, give me the ball in the low. I'm about to go get this one.
Maybe it's an argument about the word superstar.
Okay.
Generally in the league, there's only like 4 or 5 superstars. Generally.
Okay.
You could be an all-star. You could be a great player. You could be so much potential. But superstardom is... Superstars, like if you're a superstar at this point, I'm expecting your team to compete for a chip every year. And not just compete for a chip. Not just make the second round or even make the conference finals. I want you to have a chance to win a finals. So for
Boston
Jayson,
doesn't have a chance to win a championship
this year. No, I'm not putting.
They don't have a chance though.
Nah, they don't have a chance. I don't think they come out the East, and let's say hypothetically they come out the East, they're definitely not beating anybody who comes out the West. So I don't think they have a chance.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a take. I think that's being safe. I think the bet against that is to have the take.
I think they got a chance. Playing like this, they have a chance. I like what they're doing. I like what he's doing. He is so aggressive. I watched
he's hooping.
I watched the game versus the Lakers. I feel like I talked to you about this already, but I watched the game versus the Lakers, and they started to send 2 his way and stuff like that. And it was legit fun watching him carve up AD at the top. Like, I thought that was crazy. Like, he pulled back, sidestep, 3. I was like, yo, no one can stay in front of, no one can guard this man right now. And he knows it. I think that's the sign of a superstar. Because there's a lot of superstars on bad teams. There's a lot of superstars who don't have a chance to win. Just because of this situation. So I'm not going to say you have to be a certified contender to be a superstar.
I think that's what makes you a superstar, though.
Allen Iverson in that 0-1 year did not have a chance to win.
But he proved it, like I said.
Or didn't have a chance.
He proved it. But like I said,
So,
in that 0-1 year, at any given moment in time, how many superstars are there in the league? Like, we got to a point where a lot of people are so skilled and so developed that it's like, wow, it's really next man up. It's really next man up. Because even we talked about Shake earlier, he dropped 39 on the Clippers. And we always talk about the Clippers perimeter defender.
It requires consistency. It requires that.
This is 100% true.
And that's what Tatum's doing now.
It's
Shake
right
just
now.
And that's it was 39, right?
Yeah, 39 on Clippers.
That's cute. That's his first one, though.
No, that's not cute. That show him. Don't say that's cute. That's
great.
It's cute.
It's cute. It's his first one.
Because I'm quick to say something cute.
It's his first one.
Wait, like cute, like as in like, are you sliding it? Like cute, like
no, it's like that's 39.
You know,
bro.
39.
Okay, cool.
I'm not hating this,
But that's your only 39 ball.
But it's the only one on your resume right now.
So now it's cute.
That will probably be.
It'll become sexy when you do it for like.
But
exactly.
Yeah.
What Tatum is doing right now.
I'm telling y'all, bro.
It's sexy.
I'm telling
Exactly.
you. I'm telling y'all, like Shake belongs in this league.
I'm
not saying
he
he's gonna average 39, but he is a starting.
I'm the
point
same
guard.
man on this pod who was yelling that Alonzo Trill belongs in this league, and when they gave him 15 minutes, what he do? Score 16 points. I'm not. Yo, Knicks, sell your franchise, but continue.
Speaking of buying and selling, though, y'all get the
forum. The forum. Hey, yo,
What?
that'll be so sexy.
Steve
All right,
Ballmer's
so new update. Everybody, live update. We're doing a new segment called Live Updates. I don't know if we're going to keep it or not.
what is this,
But
man?
Ballmer
Yeah.
is in deep negotiations to buy the forum.
To buy the forum?
And have that the new Clippers place. So they're not renting out the Lakers Center, the Staples Center anymore.
That would be smooth.
the Acres Center.
That would be a great move.
The curve.
I'll be sick if they buy the forum. I ain't even gonna lie.
That would be hard, bro.
I'll be so sick.
That's a boss move.
I'll be so sick.
But Ballmer's
But the thing is, he has the bread and he loves basketball enough. He's one of the best, not one of the best NBA owners. He's one of the best sports owners in American, like recent history.
Yeah, he actually enjoys the game. He lets his guys do their jobs. And
he loves it.
And he just he's a fan and he just foots the bill.
Yeah.
I think that's what most owners should do.
That's what you should do if you don't know basketball.
Yeah, like, just
and no
get out the
disrespect
way.
to Steve Ballmer, but like you don't know basketball, so let Doc handle it. Like let your presidents handle
Jerry
it.
West, bring in guys
and
who
they got
know what they're
the
doing.
old Nets coach from back in the day, Lawrence Franken's involved. Like they got Sanders.
Let them handle the basketball aspect.
Lue.
When they tell you to buy something,
Buy
it.
Because they probably are telling you to put your money towards something that's going to help them win a chip.
And mind you, it's not like you don't have a lucrative franchise. Your franchise is in LA.
Yeah.
Like, off rip, you're going to be one of the top 10. Now the fact that your franchise is competing, your top 5, in terms of like what your franchise is worth.
You got 2 top 10 players when healthy.
I say top 7 players when healthy. PG's real. He's so real.
I was being safe.
Yeah, safe top 10. If anybody says he's not top 10.
Oh, yeah. That Paul George isn't a top 10 player?
Yeah. Everybody say that. Like, they can.
He was just a third in MVP voting last year, and he's been starting to cook it up as well these last couple games. So.
As long as he stay healthy, but the fact that like you're willing to buy for him, like you're doing all the right steps that the owner should do.
That's
like,
a good move.
Shout out to Steve Ballmer. Like if you hold this franchise for the next 20 years, you're gonna be one of the NBA great owners.
Don't let Kawhi somehow find a way to potentially bring 2 chips to
He doesn't need
LA.
2. He need 1. He just needs 1.
God forbid. I'm
He
saying
just
God
needs one.
forbid he brings one to Staples and the Forum.
Ooh. But how far along are the Clippers from buying? Like, you can buy the Forum, but how long?
Oh yeah, and actually
play
in there.
That might take 3 years. Kawhi doesn't have that range
right.
to win
It's
chips.
The
His window is like 2,
it's
max 3 years.
I say it's a
Max 3.
3-year window. He got between 2023 and June to get as much as he can.
Yeah, the form's a good look, but I also know for a fact that Steve Ballmer is not the type to want to. He he gives me a lot of Dr. Bus vibes.
Ooh, I thought you was gonna say something. Wow, I thought you was gonna say Jerry Jones.
No.
Jerry Jones is horrible.
Yeah,
He does not let his.
No, I thought you was gonna make the comparison from one thing Jerry and Steve don't mind doing is spending money.
They don't mind paying for nothing.
True, but in
Jerry
terms of
has
building
his hands on the football aspect,
that's why I was. I thought
Steve
you
will
was,
be like, you know what? I'm cool with not
I
knowing what's going on, but I'm gonna put it.
It just better look good. It just better look good.
You seen the clip of him and Doc Rivers talking about sending those picks for PG, and he was like, "Yo, don't consider it sending 6 picks for PG. Consider it sending 6 picks for PG and Kawhi, because Kawhi's not coming without PG. Yeah. So it's stuff like that." And Ballmer was like, you know what? Great point. I'm gonna send him picks. Like Ballmer's like great owner.
The only reason I say that in terms of being able to drop the bag, yes, I guess that's more like Jerry Jones. But Dr. Bus was very, very good at wanting to compete all the time.
All the time. He's the greatest owner in American history. I don't care what anybody says to me.
Always wanting to compete, always wanting to be a winner, and being able to let his guys handle that aspect. Bring in the best guys to do the job. Phil Jackson, he had no problems bringing in. Oh, I'm going to go buy Shaq. Jerry West in the executive, we're going to go get Shaq because he's the best big in the game.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're going to sneak Pau Gasol on our night.
Yeah,
we're going to get Chris Paul. I mean, David Stern vetoed that, but you know.
Good shot.
Good shot. Like I'm gonna do anything in my power to make this happen.
We're gonna make Tamon King a fan.
So,
all of that stuff.
And
like,
so I could very
decisions.
well see if the Lakers, because I'm not necessarily sold on their front office just yet. If the Lakers cannot find a level of comfortability and a level to kind of get those superstars in consistently, because LeBron, I don't care what LeBron is old. He's on his way out. AD's here for now.
If AD resigns, everything you just said goes out the window.
I mean,
not necessarily.
They've already given
he's
given the nod wink
that he's LA. As long as you have one superstar there, everybody's gonna want to come. It's LA. It's only so much selling you have to do.
But when there's another LA and it's being ran by a guy like Ballmer, and he's willing to foot the bill.
Both teams only have so much money. Only have so much money.
Yeah, LA won't get another superstar until like Kawhi or PG go.
Yeah. All I'm saying is one structure is better than the other. And right now it's the Clippers.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that.
That's all I'm saying.
I can guarantee that.
If this was before Dr. Bus passed away, and this was owned by the Dr. Bus, not Genie, not nobody else.
I don't think Genie's that bad.
I'm not saying that
No.
I'm not saying.
You said what?
I'm not going to disrespect another Bus, but Genie's the good one. That's all I'm going to say.
All I'm saying is, if you're comparing Ballmer to Genie.
Ballmer's the better owner.
Exactly. And Mitch Kupchak to Jerry West, Doc Rivers.
Well, Mitch Kupchak isn't there anymore.
Not Mitch Kupchak, excuse me. God, he's in Charlotte.
Shout out Mitch Kupchak.
He's in Charlotte.
Because while you were there with the Lakers organization,
what's my dude?
You
I'm
did
drawing a
more
blank
than
now.
your.
What's my guy's name?
You talking about Rob Pelinka?
Rob Pelinka to Jerry West and.
I mean Jerry West,
Laker
great trader, but whatever.
But that's all I'm saying.
I mean, Magic did help get
And LA has the 2 stars.
Magic bar Braun.
But where's Magic? Magic's gone.
He said,
so that's all, man. I ain't gonna be here, but that's all. It's gonna be intriguing down the line because they're both capable of pulling stars now.
But one has more room to pull stars because Braun's aging. But like I said, like even if Braun's aging, it's still Lakers versus Clippers, and it's still history versus present. It's like, I can guarantee you this. Like, I remember this, and this is one of the very few things I have a problem with Paul George with. He came out in an interview, and he was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I was such a Clippers fan. PG, we have clips of you saying how much you love the Lakers. Like, there was no kid who grew up in L.A. and was like, oh, my God, I want to play for the Clippers. Shut up. Like, that's the problem I had with him. Like, yo, you just lied. Like, I get it. You play for the Clippers now. Trying to make the organization sexy. You weren't in your room as a 11-year-old throwing your ball up on the bed while you're laying
saying
down,
Elton Brand,
and just was like, "Oh my God, I want to be a Clipper." Yeah. No, you weren't.
Oh man, that's funny.
Like that's not it. You were watching Kobe go. You were like, oh my God, I want to come straight out of high school. That's what you were saying?
All I'm saying is there's guys watching Kawhi, there's guys watching PG.
No, right now, and the Clippers now can potentially become the hot generation for guys later on.
They have to win because the thing is...
Oh, yeah, they got to win.
I can say this. Bron is still sexier than both of them combined when it comes to basketball. Like, when it comes to influencing the youth.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like,
most
it's
not
like...
They have to win.
They have to win. Like, all this right now...
It's predicated on winning. No doubt.
Completely. Right now, we just define, like, cute versus sexy when we're talking about people's game. The Clippers are cute right now. The Lakers are sexy still. If the Clippers win...
They look a little better now.
They super attractive now. They're really attractive. So it all depends on how that goes on. But like I said, the future of the Clippers are predicated on winning these next 2 years.
Most definitely. All right. Start the pod with the Clippers, end the pod with the Clippers.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, man. Sometimes you gotta start where you end. Sometimes you gotta end where you start.
I'm already giving the weekend review for this coming week.
Whatever you're about to say is trash.
I told Timon this. They beat Denver the other day.
Smoked Denver.
Philly today.
Squeak by.
Got the Thunder, then the Rockets, then LA this coming week. In the event, if they go 4-1 or at least 5-0 of this 5-game stretch, they're currently 2 games into now between Denver, Philly, Thunder, Rockets, Lakers. If they go 4-1 or 5-0, I've already been saying they're gonna win the chip, but it's like guaranteed, like they will. That stretch, I bet you, I'd love to see.
Why?
Because that's a tough stretch, bro.
And it ain't the playoffs.
Huh?
It ain't the playoffs. You the main one talking about regular season, and this ain't the playoffs.
That'll just show me.
Bro.
That'll just show
That's
me
not showing you anything, bro. We're getting out of here, bro. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Just know I'm going to yell at you that much more when they win the chip. Just y'all don't realize.
That man Keith said he wants to go home. I'm tired of Keith Clippers takes. I don't care about the Clippers in the regular season. I don't think they're going to beat the Lakers in the postseason.
A 5-0 stretch at the end of the season doesn't mean
a tough one, bro.
Man, I just don't want you to start the season with saying Clippers only care about the playoffs, and then we went 5-0.
No, I'm not. It's like more so. What Kawhi says about it is the regular season is just practice. Like you just want to make sure they say it in college all the time. You want to make sure you're playing your best basketball, like when the playoffs start. And
you want to get rolling on all cylinders.
And
come April.
But they've only had 8 games being fully healthy.
Bro, you are calling a whole playoff.
That'll just let me know that they're ready. That'll just let me know that they're ready.
Just say that.
So
don't say they guarantee the chip.
Nah,
say they ready, but don't say they guarantee.
That'll mean they're ready, and I think that means they're winning. If they can go 4-1 or 5-0,
this is gonna be a crazy pod come June when the Lakers win the chip.
It's gonna be a crazy pod one way or another. I haven't
talked a lot of my trash in this podcast because I've been right a large percentage of my predictions. So when the Lakers win the chip, bro, whoo boy.
Leak, where can we find you, bro?
Find me on Twitter and IG at Coach Leak. It's KoachLeek.
TK?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at King Comments of Mine. No, I'm not conceited. King is just my last name.
You can find our homeboy Dunkman Keith at Dunkman Keith on Instagram and Twitter. What else does he have, TK? Did we miss one?
We shout out his Black Planet, his Bebo, his MySpace, his Pillsbury. Do you have any other socials? Well, his social security number is 555-555-5555. I don't know what else to give. I don't know. What's your PlayStation tag? You got a gamer tag? His gamer tag is probably Dunkman Keith. And if it's not Dunkman Keith, it's Dunkman Keith with the E spelled as a 3. I don't know, man. I don't get on the game a lot anymore.
You can follow me on Instagram at @1Greggy, on Twitter at GregChillin. You can follow the pod on Instagram at HoopsMinorPod, on Twitter at @AMinorInHoops. Shout out to everyone who's been watching the pod, everyone who's enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. We're switching up our schedule. We're gonna put something out on Instagram and Twitter to let y'all know. Pods are gonna start coming out on Wednesday because I feel like every time we drop something Friday, everybody else in their mama has already talked about it and is on to the next thing. Yeah. So we want y'all to hear it from us first.
Live.
A little quicker. So we'll do better with that. It'll be out on Wednesday. And we have more additional content coming out for the weekend as well. Mm-hmm. That's it, man. TK.
Shout out to Brian, not here today. Like I said, this is a statless pod. Ain't no stats. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Only1Beachum because he's the only one that I get.
The
that
only
right.
one
Did I
out
get that
there.
right?
Hey,
All right, yeah, look,
good
you
work,
can-
good work.
Yeah, look, I look out. And again, we talked about this early in the pod, and I think I shouted them out before, but I think I want to shout them out again. The undersized guards.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in the league where it's becoming 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" point guards.
Yep.
And it's looking like a league where if you're 6'3" and below, you're going to get lost in the sauce unless you're one of the most skilled players in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So
or you can get 30 a night.
I just want to shout out to everybody who, when you're in the NBA, they make you look like you're average height. You're tall still. So shout out to everybody under 6'3" and like I said, under 6'3" and you're just hooping in the NBA. I appreciate you just as a. The thing is, I'm above average height, but I feel like a little guy when we're talking about basketball. So,
yeah.
like stick through there, like just every one of y'all, because there's so many people who are there who could still have like game.
Mm-hmm. A great impact on the game.
Yeah, so just like, man, NBA, give them a chance. Like I don't like this new thing. I love it, but I don't like it.
As I always say, man, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. We out. Oh, good pod, boys. Good pod.
Yeah, I just wanted to.